Hey, my name is Trevor, and I'm the pastor of student ministries and missions at Hope Community Church. And welcome to the series recap. During our last series, Bells, Nathaniel, Charlie, and I dived into the Bells acronym: Bless, Eat, Listen, Learn, Sent. And we dived into how we can use these habits to help follow Jesus. Come along as Nathaniel, Kimmy, and I recap this series and the things that stood out to us. Here is our conversation.
Hey, what's up, Hope Community Church? It is Pastor Trevor, and I'm joined by
Pastor Nathaniel
and
Kimmy.
And hey, it is the series recap. We just had the series Bells, but before we get into that, I have a fun question for you all, because my mom still got mad at me.
the banter. We got to do the banter.
Gotta make sure we
the
have.
banter, yeah.
I ended up missing out on Sunday, but I do want to know, what is your favorite toppings and ways to set up your ice cream?
So this is not like your favorite flavor of ice cream.
Hey, you can do that too. I want to hear that too.
Oh man.
Favorite flavor, if you have like toppings, like if you're going, maybe it's easier if you're going to a froyo place and they had your type of ice cream that you could put in the bowl and your toppings that you could put on top.
Okay, yeah. And so for people who maybe don't know, the framing for this question is July 20th was National Ice Cream Day.
Yeah.
And so we celebrated by having sundaes on Sunday. So we had Sunday. And it was very fun. Yeah, I don't know, at a froyo place. So again, that's a little bit of a different question. You know, this it gets serious by the ice cream and the frozen yogurt and the custard, you know. But at a froyo place, I think my favorite like base flavor that they often have at a froyo place would be like cake batter ice cream, yogurt, I guess.
Okay.
Cake batter, froyo, and at those kinds of places, the things I love Reese's Pieces.
Good.
Big Reese's Pieces guy on just in general. Cookie dough bits. Yeah, I don't know. I don't go crazy. I usually put too much yogurt in it. So I don't have tons of room for toppings, but I like the chocolate peanut butter combos.
Yeah.
I don't go with a lot of the like candy toppings. I'm much more like
the gummy stuff.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of that.
Well, yeah, and the gummies, they get so hard.
Yeah.
It like hurts your teeth. You can like
frozen.
break a tooth. I've done that one. I didn't break a tooth, but like I put gummy bears like on like froyo once, and I was like, I can't chew this. Like this is impossible.
Yeah, but some of them also have the like different chocolate chips. So I have like the chocolate chips and the white chocolate chips and the butterscotch chips or the peanut butter chips. I mean, I like sometimes I'll do like throw a little scoop of all of those. Yeah, all the different chips.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like whipped cream. I don't know. Like
That's it.
well, not just it, but like that's like my favorite. You said like what was your favorite topping? Like I think whipped cream.
I thought you were saying like a bowl of whipped cream.
Honestly, though, I would just eat a bowl of whipped cream or like Cool
It is
Whip.
good.
I would just eat straight up Cool Whip.
We just go to Starbucks and get Kimmy pup cups.
Yeah.
We're just like, can we have a pup cup? And like, we don't see a dog. He's like, no, she just wants the whipped cream. That's
like,
yeah.
If you're in the back, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, be small. Yeah.
It's for me. It's fine. Yeah. Or like I do like the traditional like hot fudge sundae. So like but like hot fudge, not like chocolate syrup.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
it has to be
the hot
I'm getting
fudge. Yeah, like the
fudge.
fudgy hot fudge syrup. Like
Yeah.
not like Hershey's that like is not the same.
But yesterday, I mean, we went to Culver's, went to lunch with some of the ladies from church, and so there, I just vanilla custard, Reese's on top. I mean, that has
And I got cookie dough. I do also like cookie dough a lot. Like yeah, if we're going to like Culver's and we get like our little free scoop of custard, which is what we did
with the kids meal.
with
We
the
had-
kids meal. Yeah, I always get cookie dough on like vanilla custard.
Yeah.
Just
You have a favorite like ice cream base?
usually probably like a vanilla or chocolate. Yeah,
But you like cookie dough ice cream?
I
It's
love
like-
cookie dough
yeah.
ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like cookie dough
I
ice
see.
cream I do. But if I'm gonna like if it's just like like plain flavors to make a sundae or whatever,
Yeah.
vanilla or chocolate usually. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you,
Yeah,
Trevor?
what about
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Hey, okay, my favorite ice cream, cookies and cream.
Okay.
Very basic, but it's like so good. And if it's outside of that, I like a good strawberry ice cream. I've been into strawberry ice cream lately.
Mhm.
Not for froyo. I usually don't. That's like I'm just eating that plain, nothing else on top. But cookies and cream, I like to put Butterfinger toppings on top.
Ooh.
And what else do I usually put? There's like typically at froyo places you can get like the marshmallow stuff, like the melted marshmallow or whatever on top. That's super fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll put more Oreo bits and M&M bits on top too.
There you
All
go.
the Oreo.
Yes.
Double the Oreo.
Yeah, I like strawberry milkshakes. I don't usually eat just like strawberry
Interesting.
ice cream, but like a strawberry milkshake, I'd get down with that.
The only time I want like strawberry is like strawberry cheesecake ice cream. I don't want like strawberry ice cream. I want like
You want like the actual.
the fancy like or like real strawberry like
Mm.
in it. Yeah, I don't like the pink stuff.
That's fair. If it feels cheaper, I'm not going to get strawberry. Like Kilwins and like St. Joe has really good strawberry ice cream.
Well, see, now we're going to do a podcast about Kilwins because that Kilwins toasted coconut is like top tier ice cream, just period, bar none. Like, let's go,
I don't think I've had that one.
bro. It's so good.
I can't remember anything I've ever had at Kilwins. I don't know. I guess I didn't have a very like earth shattering
Toasted coconut.
experience.
Kilwins toasted coconut. Yeah, let's go.
Interesting.
I don't
That's
like coconut periods. So I'm like, man, ugh.
Does Buchanan still have the ice cream place in town?
Chunks. Shout out to Chunks.
Too, but yeah, we do have just
Oh yeah.
a specific just
They
ice
had
cream.
grape ice cream for a bit, and I had that.
Oh, at Chunks or at the sweet
Mhm.
shop?
I think it was at Chunks. The like
Okay.
outside.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, grape ice cream.
Yeah, they called it like unicorn poop.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh, see,
What was
grape.
that
I can't do that.
No,
I can't
not
do
for me.
grape. Oh man.
I think had sprinkles on top.
The best one I've had at Chunks is they had the witches or wizards brew or whatever. It was like butterbeer flavor.
Yeah, like the
It was
Harry
very
Potter
good. Yeah, it was really good.
beer. Yeah.
That was really good.
They also had a bomb strawberry cheesecake flavor. And I like this time. Full circle.
Bringing it back to the strawberry.
Full circle.
But sorry, I could make this a whole ice cream podcast, but we probably should
Yeah. let's
talk
do
about
that
what we're
too.
doing.
Yeah,
Our kids
so-
are across the hall. They're gonna have a
Like down
meltdown.
the door.
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
minute.
So if you see them looking away, their kids are probably making a noise or peeping through the window.
This is the last podcast we'll shoot before school's back. And yeah, we're excited about school being back.
We're ready for that too. Yeah.
And so are they. So are they.
They are very ready. Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
awesome. So we've been in Bells for the last, I would said few weeks, but it's more than that. It's past 5 weeks. BELLS 5. Yeah. How to recount again.
So I've lived.
And so, hey, you took 3 of them. I took 1. But I'd love to hear from you first.
And then Charlie took the last one. She did great.
Yeah,
She did
she
awesome.
did
Our summer intern.
She did great.
What was kind of going through your head as you were prepping? What kind of resources did you use as you were kind of preparing for?
Yeah, I think there were some really astute Hope people who realized that we have done this series before. It was in 2022, so it's been 3 years since we covered this, which is why I felt like maybe it was a good time to come back to it. But the book that's kind of the impetus for this is Surprise the World by Michael Frost.
Yeah.
And I think, and Charlie talked a lot about this. I thought she did a wonderful job that these habits fit so perfectly with our strategy of be with Jesus, become like Jesus, do what Jesus did, right? The whole idea of these 5 habits is that they include being with Jesus, but the habits and they include doing what Jesus did. But when we work these things into our lives, we become a different kind of person. And I think that's really important. And so I definitely used that book really heavily. I had just some of my own thoughts. There were some, I had some quotes from Richard Foster and Dallas Willard, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
The usual suspects. But yeah, those were a lot of my main kind of pushes. Yeah. But again, I only did 3 of the 5 weeks, so.
Yeah. You surprised the world. Weirdly enough, for week 1.
What a coincidence.
There are some principles that I use from the book Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools, because he uses
By Tyler Staton.
by Tyler Staton. He uses a lot of like talk about like prayer, like being people of like normacy, but also finding God deep in the normacy of everyday ordinary life, and that's like part of the whole rhythm of the book. And then I remember reading some stuff from Dietrich Bonhoeffer before, and so I use Bonhoeffer in one of the quotes. His books are often too huge for me to want to sit down and read. I've always wanted to sit down and deeply read a lot of his stuff, but I've read a lot more smaller sections of his stuff before. And so
Yeah. And what I love about the whole, and this came up several times throughout the series, but one of the things I love about this whole surprise the world idea, I was really captivated at first, and I know this is a challenging idea, of the whole idea of the, like, all of us are not evangelists. And Kimmy and I have talked a lot about this just growing up as pastors' kids and growing up in the church, that there was kind of this expectation in the culture that we grew up in, especially in the youth group culture we grew up in, that like everybody's an evangelist and everybody's got to tell all their friends about Jesus all the time. And we did, the door to door things, or we'd do tracks, or,
yeah,
and there was this pressure that we all had to be really gifted evangelists. And both Kimmy and I have talked about in our own stories how uncomfortable we were in that whole journey. And I love this idea that, yes, all of us have a responsibility to spread the gospel. All of us have a responsibility to be missionaries.
Yeah.
All of us have that responsibility to awaken the world around us to the kingdom of heaven. But evangelism is also a spiritual gift, right?
Yeah.
It's a spiritual gift where there are people who are uniquely wired and specially gifted to be really good at it. And I think we've all been around those kinds of people who just have a beautiful gift to do it. So it doesn't excuse us from sharing our faith. It doesn't excuse us from being able to talk about our faith. I think that's really important. Like, there's so many people who don't even know how to talk about their own faith story, which I think we have to know how to talk about it. But it takes some of that burden off of, like, does my life represent the kingdom of heaven? What are the ways that I'm bringing forward the kingdom of heaven? And I was really captivated by that idea. And I think if we can work these habits into our lives, we'll find ways to tell people about the kingdom and awaken people to that reality.
So good. And kind of leads me into my next question is, when you think about your early faith, or when you were kind of growing up in a church and was trying to share your faith for the first time and stuff, what do you wish somebody would have told you? If you were to, like, look back and be like, I wish I would have known this when I was younger.
That is a good question. I wish someone had told me to not, like, there wasn't that much pressure, like, and it's actually not my job to save this person or save anybody, right? Like, and it's not all hinged on me if this person accepts or finds Jesus or not. Like, absolutely, seeds can be planted and,
Yeah.
you can be a part of that, and that matters. But, like, again, yeah, just like the youth group culture that Nathaniel talked about that we grew up in, it felt so, like, I don't know, just like critical that you, like, were, like, telling your friends about Jesus and getting them to come to church with you, and then, getting them to, like, believe in Jesus. There was just, like, this pressure that I always felt. And as an introvert and as someone who really actually just kind of hates all of that, to be completely honest, and is not a natural at those kinds of things, and hates just going up to random strangers and talking to them, period. Especially as a teenager. Oh my goodness, telling teenage Kimmy to go do those kinds of things. I was so just stressed out all the time. And then it kind of ingrained this, like, guilt and shame in me that, like, I was a bad, quote unquote, bad Christian because that was really hard for me and I didn't want to do it. And I didn't think it was, like, it didn't make sense to me, and I didn't do it very often.
Sure.
And so I guess I just wish someone had just told me, like, there is not a lot of pressure here. Like, there really is there actually is no pressure here. Like, and it is more about, like, who you are becoming and how you are living out in the world around you and how you treat the people around you. It's just, like, it's so much more than just, like, telling people about Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so much more about, like, who you are becoming and, like, the work that the Holy Spirit is doing in you and how you're, like, again, letting the overflow of that just affect the whole little corner of your world, the whole sphere of influence that you have. And no one really, like, said anything like that to me. And I think I would have been a lot more excited and about, like, growing in my faith and doing new things if
Yeah.
I didn't have this like pressure that I had to do it a certain way. So yeah.
Yeah, I think mine's related to that. I think there was a lot of pressure for that moment of salvation. And I think there was such an impetus on that. That's the only thing that really we were taught to care about. And I think some of it is, yeah, we were uncomfortable with it. But I think some of it for me was like, that's not how I would want to learn about something, right? I think some of the pushback for me was not like, this is scary and what if they reject me? I think I often was just always thinking like, this would not reach me. You know what I mean? Like, this is not how I would be reached.
Yeah.
This is not how you would talk to me or convince me of something that you wanted to convince me of. To just like show up as a stranger and be like, hey, can I question everything about your worldview? Like that wouldn't work with me.
Yeah.
And I think
immediately defensive, like,
yeah. And so I think I always struggled with it when I was growing up because I didn't think it was going to be effective. Like I was like, this would not be how you would convince me of anything. And I always longed for a different thing. And I think Kimmy and I have kind of connected over that whole idea of what is captivating for us about Jesus is that deep work. You know, it is that deep transformation. It is that deep life change. Not that the moment of salvation is not that or it can't be that, but it's that long term. You know, it's less of like the wow moment and it's more of the like all the time subtle presence. And who we become, right? I think what's captivating to me, well, this is tangential, but one of the things when I'm having a hard day wrestling with my faith, right? Everybody's got days where they are struggling with faith and they have questions and they don't feel as close to Jesus as they want to. Everybody has those days, including me. And when I've had those days, it is so, I believe in the divinity of Jesus. And there's other days where the divinity of Jesus is what carries me. But some days when I'm really struggling with faith, I think a lot about the like, Peter, you know, Lord, to whom else would we go? Because there's so much about the teaching of Jesus that just works.
Yeah.
Right? Like take the divinity of Jesus out. And there's a lot of Jesus teachings that just work. It's why Jesus culturally has such a positive, people have a positive opinion of him, right? Like people think highly of Jesus because so many of his teachings are things that we want to be about. You know, like his teachings about caring for people and loving well, like that's captivating for anybody. And so sometimes for me, I think what I want to say is, hey, I think we might reach more people if we just teach them like, hey, the way of Jesus is just like a really good way to live your life.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what's captivating to me. And so, yeah, I believe all the things that I was taught when I was growing up about living with Jesus forever. And I do believe in heaven and I believe in hell. But at least for me, the main motivator for me was not eternity. It was right now. And eternity is amazing that we have that to look forward to. But for me, I think what's captivating for a lot of people is, especially in the world we live in right now, right? Like, do we feel like the life that we're living right now is working for us? Right? Do you feel like it's working for you? Well, maybe there's a different way. And so anyway, I wish, just like Kimmy had said, I just wish that we were able to stop making everything so pressurized and urgent and rest in the promise that like God is still God. And yeah, I think I really would have loved to be able to talk with people more about how following Jesus just works for your life beyond that moment of salvation. Just like living this way is just better.
Yeah.
You know, you can have more peace, and I don't know. I guess that's kind of my answer for your question. But
I think for me, I think I almost always wanted the thing to just happen so I didn't have to deal with it anymore. Like if the person just became a Christian, then I wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. And instead, what that ended up being for me was what it looked like was just, I just want you to say that you're a Christian. And so as long as I can get you to that point, then I don't need to worry about you anymore. It's that idea of like, as long as I just get this person into the doors of the church and just let the pastor kind of like deal with them.
And then we turn people into our projects, right?
Yes.
Which like doesn't feel good for anybody. That was like some of my beef is like, I don't want these people to think that like I think about them that way.
Yeah.
But that's how we were taught to think about them.
Yeah. And so like discipleship ended at that point. And so there was no more mentoring and helping them like into the faith. It was just like, well, as long as you are there, then you're good to go. And that was like one thing I think I wish I learned is no, it's you are walking alongside with this person, and it's a much longer thing than that. And so part of the discipleship and even like evangelizing is not just quickly trying to make converts. Because if you can quickly try to make converts, the amount of people who probably stay though is going to drop really quickly. I actually don't have like a thing for that, but I'm assuming
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, if there's nobody to carry it,
yeah.
Yeah.
They like get there and then they start to have hard questions, and then there's no one there to actually wrestle with these hard questions.
Right.
And then they just leave. They're like, well, this sure isn't going to answer my hard questions. I don't have anybody to walk through this with.
Yeah. Yep. And I think too, sorry, and I know we can move on, but I think like in the community where I grew up, at least, I didn't feel like there was a lot of unreached peoples. You know, I think that's the other thing is it was always presented to us like there's people who don't know about Jesus, but like in the Midwest Indiana town where I grew up, I'm not saying like everybody was like super Christian, but like most people knew the John 3:16,
Yeah.
Jesus is the Son of God who died on the cross for our sins.
Yeah.
There was not tons of people who didn't know that. But we were only taught to like teach people that.
Yeah.
And so like I have this like really distinct memory of like the one time that I like was brave enough to like do this. I was on my school Washington DC trip and I was sitting on an airplane next to this girl in my middle school. We were in 8th grade. And this girl was sitting next to me and we like fell into this faith conversation. And I was like, this is my moment. And I like went through this whole thing and I told her about Jesus and how Jesus is the Son of God who died on the cross for our sins. And because of Jesus, we can have life. And, you know, I sang the Point of Grace song. I didn't really. There's a bridge to cross the great divide. I didn't really.
Got a Bible track and
Yeah, no, but I did the whole thing and I was like fired up and I did the whole gospel presentation and everything. And she listened politely. And at the end, she goes, well, I knew all that. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. And I didn't know what else to do or what else to say. But like, I don't think she was like going to church or anything. But like, that was what we were taught to do.
Yeah.
And I finished doing it. I finally was brave enough to do it. And then the girl was like, oh, yeah, well, I knew all that. And I was so defeated that I was so devastated by that moment. But then at the same time, I have learned stories now about some of my friends who were not following Jesus and the things that they were going through in their lives. But I was not a safe person. They didn't trust me with those things because they didn't feel like I would respond well. Yeah. And that, I think, is what's broken is I was here telling the gospel story to some girl who already knew it, but I wasn't the kind of person who my friends felt comfortable with saying, hey, I'm wrestling with my sexuality. Hey, I'm struggling with, I'm in this situation, or hey, I'm really, struggling with depression, or I wasn't a safe person for that.
Yeah.
Which is like really what I want to be. I want to be somebody. That's what I think the Christ-like attitude is to be a safe person, but I wasn't. I wasn't a safe person. I think my friends felt like if you came to me and said, hey, I'm wrestling with my sexuality, I'd be like, well, Leviticus says.
just stop.
But I think that's what I would have
quit.
But I think that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think I just wished that I would have been taught more about how to become a kind of person that can walk graciously with people through the challenging seasons of their life and help guide them to Jesus, who can help you navigate that instead of just being taught gospel presentation.
Yeah, I know we talked a lot about that idea of like living questionable lives. How do you think that idea and what you just talked about almost goes together a little bit? Or would you say they don't go together? How would you probably put those together?
I think there's a way that can like go together. I think like, yeah, like the way Nathaniel was illustrating how he was like in high school or right in middle school is a person, like probably didn't seem like very different other than like they just knew he was a church kid, right? But the difference when you are like a person who is like being transformed by Jesus, we've talked about where you just like know those kinds of people, right? Because you just like see it on them, just like in the way that they just literally do everything, like just the way that they again treat people, the way that they just carry themselves, the way that just like they can like change the atmosphere in a room almost just by like their presence sometimes, because they're just like just solid, calm, like loving, like joyful. I don't know. There's just different things about them. Um, and I think those are things that people notice. And I think I think that's really what a questionable life is, right? It's just like when people just like notice there's something different about you. Um, and whether they actually like ask you about it or not is like on them. Um, but yes, you can also be a person that you can be known as like a church person, and
That's
you-
not always good.
and that is not always good, and that
always helpful. It's
that-
always good.
that can define you actually in a negative way, just depending again on like the kind of person that you are everywhere that you go, because you take you everywhere.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think there's a way that all of that kind of like goes together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal, right? Like living a questionable life, that's like the goal of what I'm saying, right? If you are living a questionable life as a follower of Jesus, you are the kind of person that presents like, how are you holding these things together, right? Like, how are you helping me navigate this really hard thing when I've, got myself in a mess or making bad decisions, or I know you don't agree with this decision or whatever, but you still are the person who like wants to show up for me. Like that doesn't make sense. That's the questionable life that I want to be living, and the kind of person I hope I'm becoming. Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely go hand in hand. I think that's what I love about it, is I think you'll have more opportunities to show people Jesus through that than sitting on the airplane in 8th grade, telling some girl who already knows the story of Jesus about Jesus.
Poor girl.
I think it's even good for
Her
them.
name was Erica. Shout out to Erica. She'll never watch this. I won't use her last name. I don't even know what it is now, but I hope you remember that, Erica.
I think too, I think the whole questionable lives thing is good, even for people who would call themselves followers of Jesus, because it almost allows you to see, like, if you're around a lot of people who call themselves followers of Jesus, and they're all like not people of prayer or reading scripture, they're not really doing anything. It's more just like, I go to church once a week. That kind of does affect a little bit the way that you then start to walk through things. Not that you can't, but often if the people you surround yourself with, they do kind of have a little bit of an impact. Versus when you start to see that somebody looks very different in that circle, you're like, okay, something's different about that person compared to my circle, what I thought it is. How can I start to take steps towards that, to be like that person? Because now that I'm reflecting, that person looks more like what Jesus is calling us than what this circle is looking like. I think it has like a impact, not just for the unbeliever, but for believers as well, to help re-engage their, I guess if you say their faith or their love for Jesus again, and going, it's more than just for the unbeliever. It also helps. And I think that's why like the whole thing of like the bless and eat with people in the church and outside the church is so good, because it helps to cultivate that in the church and also outside the church for people who aren't a part of it.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the church is supposed to be the family of God, right? I think that's it. Sometimes in our excitement about evangelism, we miss out on that part of it, right? And yeah, like we can't forget that like part of why people are drawn into the church is because of the way we care for each other, right?
Yeah.
That's what Jesus says, right? Like they'll know you're Christians by your love. He's not talking, we actually love to use that as an evangelism push. Like, hey, they'll know by our love. And so by the way we love the people around us, but Jesus is actually talking to the church then, right? Like they'll know that we're Christians by the way we care for each other. Yeah. And that's who Jesus is actually talking to. He's not actually talking about evangelism in that moment. It doesn't mean that I think it doesn't apply to everyone. I think it does. But when Jesus said that, he's saying, hey, they'll know you're Christians by your love.
Yeah.
By your love for one another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think as we look through the BELLS acronym, bless, eat, listen, learn, send, I think each of us will have one that feels the easiest, like I can go and do that. And there's going to be one that feels like this is going to be the harder one for me. Which one is that for you all? And what are some ways that help you navigate the harder one?
You go. No, you go for it.
Well, I mean, I think all of us in this podcast, like all of us like much more the like introspective
Sure.
pieces. I mean, you guys maybe will surprise me, but like for me,
My easiest one is eat.
but
And both.
like for me, like listening is the easiest.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you guys all say listening, but I think the two L's. I'm going to guess that the L's are probably going to be the ones you guys like the best, but maybe you surprise me. But listening has always been the easiest one for me, because that's it doesn't require anybody else's engagement in it, right? It's just about my own ability to do it. And you guys know I'm a big proponent of like we can't do that. It's just me and Jesus. I like believe that deeply, and theologically, I believe that's true. But for me, it is so much. The listening part is always the easiest one for me because it doesn't require me to have to convince anyone of anything or do anything for anyone else. It's just about like me carving out the time to be with Jesus, which I love to do.
Yeah.
That's not hard for me to do. So that one's always the easiest for me. And I'm pretty good at that. I don't often miss, especially the bar being as low as like once a week. I definitely do that. At least, I mean, I'm usually 4 or 5 times a week. I get that done. And so, that one's always the easiest for me. I think the harder ones for me, I mean, really all of them besides the L's are hard for me. I think his version of sent is not that hard for me. I mean, keeping track of like where I see God at work.
Yeah.
It's weird to call that sent, honestly.
Yes.
But that one's not as hard. But just again, Charlie talked about like remembering to journal. I mean, that can be challenging, but for me, it's just remembering bless and eat. It's not that I don't want to do those things. It's just like thinking about it is the hard. Getting that as a habit is hard for me. Thinking about who do I want to bless this week is hard. Or we do all eat, but eating with somebody else often requires that you schedule it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I don't think about it until I'm hungry. And by then, sometimes it's too late. It's too late to eat with somebody if you wait till that long.
Yeah.
And so I struggle. Eat with especially is the hardest one. I mean, bless, like I said, with bless, you can literally like write a note card, and I could knock that out in 15 minutes for the whole week. And there's days where I do that, or as both of you know, like I'm pretty good at like I'll send a text message to somebody who's be like, hey, you're on my mind, and I wanted to just like say I'm thankful for you or whatever. I do that stuff all the time. So eat with is weirdly, I know that's when I made the biggest joke about how much I love it, but that one's hard because it requires the most planning. I think eat with requires the most planning, which is why it's hardest.
And you have to. There's a financial part of it too. Often
There can be.
that bless is a little bit more flexible with. It's not always financial. Obviously, learning and listen is free. Maybe journal if you want to put in buying a journal if you don't have one, or if you use your phone. But yeah, eat also has like a financial part of it too. Like
That's true. Yeah, I guess like again, easiest would be like listen. Because I can usually find at least a time once a week to like sit. It's usually in my front room, and like even though there is no silence at all, I can still like take time and just at least like for a few minutes like just sit with God. And bless and eat are hard. Eat, like you said, like the planning, especially like it's you have to like coordinate with people, and people are busy, we're busy, so that can be a challenge sometimes. And the bless too.
And for like me, I talk about like eating with people from work, but like those are people from our church.
Yeah.
The people who I work with are also people from our church, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it can. I don't think
It counts as the person from our church, but it doesn't count as the person not from our church. For everybody else, the person that you could eat with at lunch at work is not from our church either.
Well, I want to push back on this. Like, I agree, like, we should have people that are not a part of our church community that we're, like, getting to know and have a relationship with. But I think in this day and age, if you can eat with 3 different people in a week, just period, that is a huge
Mm.
deal. I think that's a huge deal.
That's true.
I really want to put that again, like it is important that we are, have relationships and friends and neighbors outside of our church community that we are interacting with and have relationships with and are investing in for sure. And we should eat with those people. But I think if you can just get coffee or lunch with someone, 3 different people a week, that's insane to me. Like, that's a lot. So I kind of just want to push back on that one, just in this like post-COVID pandemic era that we live in, where it's like we're super isolated and no one, I think, is really good at this at all. If you're eating with 3 different people every week,
Whoever they are.
whoever they are, like that's
For many of us, eating
a
the
lot.
dinner with our families is hard.
Probably, like we barely eat with our kids. I don't know, like we do like a family dinner
Yeah.
every once in a while. We're lucky if we do that once a week. So I don't know.
School year, we're better at.
And I guess, yeah. Summer is just
When
the
the
Wild
question is,
West.
kind of going on.
Yeah.
But sorry, I interrupted. I made your thing my thing. Sorry. Please continue.
That's fine. I just kind of want to push back on that. Like, if you are eating with 3 different people
Mm.
or like getting coffee with people every week, like, man, hats off to you. Like, I think that's a really big deal. Because I don't do that at all. I like never eat with other people unless like my pottery group is getting pizza that night. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you find a way to just like do that, I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. I think it counts and is a huge feat no matter what.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that is a good perspective to put on that. Like, yeah, like eating with people is hard. And so even if it's just people who are from the church, like that, I always did think it was funny that it was like 3 people in the very beginning and it was like 20 minutes of like listening in a week. Like the disparity between.
Those are very different things and very different time commitments.
Yes.
Yeah, eating with 3 people is way harder than finding 20 minutes.
How's that
a
commitment?
week.
I remember going through and I was like, I feel like it, if anything, should be switched. Like, put like one person outside the church to eat with a week, but then try to do like, hey, find 3 times a week where you're sitting with.
Honestly,
But I think some of that is just our personalities too, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
That's
Oh,
fair.
no, for real. I think all of us, like I mentioned, all of us are predisposed to like naturally want to do that. We all like to do that kind of thing, and we've all read Celebration of Discipline, and we've all like we like that kind of stuff. Like that, it's just easier for us. I think it's a personality thing too.
Yeah.
Where there's other people who like find the idea that you're going to find 20 minutes to sit down in a week is a crazy thing. I mean, I just heard from somebody in our church during the series, young moms. Like, I feel like I'm going until we get to 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then I'm like ready to go to bed. So what do I do with that? How do I make space for this? So I think some of it is just personality too, and stage of life and all of it.
Yeah. I think the easiest for me, I was gonna say not listen but learn. And then listening would probably be really close second. Just because I think I like doing that kind of stuff. That's just fun for me. And like I can do that in a way that like feels like a fun off time as well. It doesn't feel like, wow, I need to like try to cram in time for like learning. It's just like, I don't know. I can like definitely if it's like a podcast or something, it's fun for me. And it's a little bit easier to do because listening is definitely more of like I need to carve out focus time so I can have a podcast on and be doing different things too. And then eating for sure is probably I mean you kind of touched a little bit of like it's easy for us to eat with people from our church. And then for me, I live like in an apartment complex, so it's like meeting and talking with the people in my apartment complex and stuff, which usually everyone's like gone out all over the place. And so first it's just getting to know them and then building up that relationship to then eat with them. And so yeah, eat's for sure the harder one of.
So should we just like stop and go get something to eat?
Yeah, and get some Subway.
I skipped breakfast, you guys. Yeah.
Let me try to find the next question. Okay, so we kind of touched on it a little bit, and I had it as a question, But do you, and this could, maybe it's a critique of the book or not, do you guys like how the habits are? Do you wish there was more? I mean, we kind of talked about like the listening section. What do you think if you had to change any of it? Would you keep the habits the way they are? The things. Yeah.
The things. I think they're really great tangible steps.
Yeah.
Like that's what this whole book really is like for people
Yeah.
who are like, okay, I want to, grow. I want
Mm-hmm.
to learn. I want to, develop my relationship with Jesus. How do I do that? And this book is a great tool. It's just full of tools. And so, and all of them are really great starting places and again, just tools for your toolbox. So I personally wouldn't change any of it, but they're not the only tools, right? So like they're, you can also do different things and look for different tips and steps or whatever you want to add on to this. But I think they're really great, like tangible and very approachable, very practical things that you can do either to get started or to continue on where you are or to try something different or to stretch yourself or grow in a different area of, your faith. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I think they're really good, just practical, applicable things that you can do. And you can start literally like anytime.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. I think it's really well done. I mean, I think working them in as habits, as we talked about, is hard. But they're very practical. It's easy to understand. It's approachable. It's simple. So my only feedback would just be like, and Charlie said this in her sermon this week, right? Just don't hate yourself if you can't do all 5 of these right now. Like if you start doing one of these things that you were not doing before, that will begin to change your life. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
If you can do one of these 5 habits and it becomes a habit for you, that will matter to your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing I wish I could say. Sometimes I think doing all 5 of them every week is daunting. And so I would just say, hey, look, like this is all great stuff. If you start with one of these things that you're not doing now, that would be a huge step forward. So pick one and start with it.
Yeah. And to kind of go off that, it's like, it's a remembering that like these habits are meant to help bring us closer to Jesus as well. It's not just trying to do these habits for the sake of doing these habits either. It's, hey, there is a little bit of a goal.
They are means, not an end, right?
Yes.
Like that's it. We cannot make blessing 3 people a week the end.
Yeah.
It has to be the means to the end. The end is a life more closely aligned with Jesus, right? Yeah. So more of Jesus. That's the end. These are just a means. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking at when we went through eat. What would you say for somebody who's maybe wrestling with the eat part and they're like, hey, I don't feel like I'm a host or have a suitable place to host people for meals, stuff like that. What would you say for that person to help them as they're navigating that habit?
I mean, if you want to meet them, you can meet them at a restaurant, meet them for coffee. I think that's a really easy way. Or like you both like bring your own lunch to a park or something, I don't know. I've done that with like friends with kids and stuff. We like bring snacks and stuff to the park and, I think that counts, you know? I think you can easily just meet someone and, eating, I guess, is like the goal, but like, it also like doesn't have to be like the thing you do. I don't know. You'd also like technically don't have to eat, I guess. But I think
Snack meal.
For real, just like grab some snacks and I don't know. But I think you could easily like just meet them somewhere or meet them at the library or I don't know, meet them at a bookshop or
I
something.
agree. That's the easiest thing. Is just there's lots of ways to do that even without money. Like we said, you can meet them at the park with thing, or again, like there's like get coffee at McDonald's or the Martins. They have the Starbucks, but they also have just like the regular old coffee. If you're worried about the cost, I mean, you can meet somebody somewhere else and share something with them there. But I don't know. I'm not above like challenging people and be like, hey, I don't know, like hosting people does not have to be fancy china and,
Yeah.
a great, beautiful dinner party with candles and stuff. Like,
Just order pizza.
order pizza and let somebody sit on your couch. I mean,
No,
And hot.
if that's your vibe,
what you
that's
want,
fine.
get it.
If you want to do that, that's fine too.
But I think also, like, I don't know. I do believe hospitality is a call of Christians. And I don't know. I know it's more complicated than that, but I do think it's at least worth wrestling with.
Mm.
Of like, can I make space for this in my life? Can I make room for this for the people around me? Can Trevor answer his phone that's ringing in the middle of our podcast?
It's not. It's out of reach. It's fine. It's fine. It's stopped. It's fine.
I think that matters. I think that matters, right? And I think there's this thing that everybody believes that everyone else has a home that they're really proud of and are excited about hosting people in. And I actually think most people are not that. I think everybody's a little bit embarrassed, but I think what you would have been is when you get to somebody else's house, you'll find out that everybody's house is messy because everybody lives in their house.
Everybody wants to have the perfect time.
Yeah, but nobody does. And so I think if we could all just like agree, like, hey, all of us have a messy house, because we live in our houses. I don't know.
Yeah, you live there.
Our couches are a disaster because we have 3 young sons and they're gross and they're scrubbed all the time.
Gross.
Toys are everywhere and I don't know. And so can we just like get comfortable with like, I don't know, it doesn't have to, hosting has become performative in a way that I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah.
So yes, you can meet people places, but also like, can we just like normalize like
100%.
eat pizza on paper plates and let somebody sit on your couch and
Yeah,
that's
just
cool.
Eat pizza in the living room. I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, even like you can even just have something that doesn't have to be the meal as a place that helps kick off questions. Like if you own puzzles or board games or something like that, or like I have it here with table conversations, like
Nice.
the things that just kind of like help kickstart ways to just talk with each other and just be with each other. Like sometimes I think we also miss out on like sometimes like a board game, like it is so simple, but it helps kick off conversations with people and like
Yeah, like an icebreaker. Yeah.
tension or stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I think that can be great, but I want to push back and just be like, I do actually believe like the food part of it is important because I do believe that food is holy, and I know I make that joke, but like I actually believe that. Like I believe that the food part of it matters. So anyway, I'm gonna have to preach a sermon on that, but I do think it matters.
So we are going to hop into the listen part. I know we kind of talked about a little bit of like listening for most of us, but it's my close second for you guys you guys kind of said was the easiest. What about listening you think was the most challenging thing for you to learn as you were getting closer in it or building up that habit and things? And what do you think is often the thing that is the most distracting part of it? If that makes sense.
I mean, the hardest part for me has been and continues to be the pressure to make all of those times dramatically meaningful. We put this pressure, I think some of it is our Western culture of just like needing everything to have utility. Right? We need everything to have utility. And so sitting still for 20 minutes and just listening only matters if we receive some sort of revelation from God. And so I think sometimes it's hard to do that because it feels like a waste of time to just do nothing. Doing nothing feels wasteful.
Yeah.
And so I think that is the burden. And so what happens is we sit down and we say, all right, God, I'm going to listen, but only because I've been told that if I sit here and listen, you will big talk with me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of days where listening to God is just sitting there with him and nothing huge happens. And doing it all the time means that sometimes there will be big things happen, but a lot of days it's very simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the purpose of it is to cause us to like slow down and just enjoy being in the presence of God. But that is so hard. Every time I sit down with God, I want there to be a lesson right? I want to learn something every time because that's what makes it feel like it's valuable. And I have to constantly remind myself that the the end is just being with God.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of this, right? And that's really hard. I think that's really hard. So, and the most distracting thing again is just our brains are not given any space at all during our days. And so when you sit down, it's just your brain goes a million different ways because we don't have any time for it to do that. So I'm constantly distracted by that. Or I'll jump, I'll have things weighing heavy on my heart. And in an effort to give it to God, my brain will try to solve it. Like instead of just like listening for what God wants to say, my brain will immediately be like, well, this could work. What if we did this? What if we did that? And then it's like, but I can't, like, even if that doesn't get solved today, I need to just like enjoy being here. And I can't make this about answering that question. I have to make it about being with God. And that's the hard part for me.
Yeah, I would say my experience very similar. Yeah, to just like feeling like it has to be like this, a revelation every time or like super meaningful every single time, and it just isn't. And that's okay. And that's it's okay. That's not a problem. Nothing's wrong. So yeah, just learning to be okay with that. And for me, like, I try to like set aside like or just like sit down and like to have like time with God, but that does not always happen because especially right now it's summertime, all of my boys are home all day every day. And they are with me like every moment right now. And so it's hard to just like have time to try to actively listen. And so I just try to just like pray throughout the day, if I think of something or if something happens, something goes on or like something, brings something to mind, I just try to like, within those moments, like talk to God really quick and then just like, try to like remember that he's just with me throughout the whole day, whatever's going on, wherever I'm going, like he is with me and he can like prod me or, say something or point something out to me. Throughout the day. And it's usually when I'm like feel like I need to like say a prayer or like feel like praying it to me that's like, oh well, God's doing something right now. I'm thinking about God right now. Like God is saying something right now. And again, it's very, very rarely it's like this huge thing like that's happening. It's just like either a Thanksgiving prayer, like because it's like a beautiful day, or like, it rained and I like literally like said a prayer of Thanksgiving, like thank you for the rain, because I'm, you know, an old millennial now that like says things like, "Oh man, we needed this rain," right? Like, oh, it's like, yay, we had rain. It's been too dry. Um, so I don't know, just like learning to like, yeah, not try to make things happen and have let go of the expectations that my quiet time should have. Um, I think it's just kind of allowed me to just kind of like move throughout my days with God and help me try to at least be, and I'm not always good at it, but like be aware that he's there and I can hear him anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. What do you guys have any last thoughts for this series as we start to wrap it up? And then what's next for us?
I think I said most of what I want to say. I mean, I think the book is really good. Again, I know people don't like to read. This book is really small and you can get it really affordably. You could read the whole thing in an hour if you wanted to. It's really accessible. So I love this. I believe in the content. And again, if you can do one of these 5 habits, it will change your life.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, what I want to say about that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Again, just like for the people who are looking for like actual things to do,
Yes.
this is a great resource for that. So like take advantage of that. If that's who you are, that's what you're needing right now. Like just take advantage of like these steps that are right here.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, the book is really easy to understand, grasp. It's very practical in the sense of like it just tells you do this every week. It's very and it gives really good things of why it matters as well. And so I would definitely say, hey, If you haven't, read the book. It's really good. Yeah, what's next for us as we kind of
Why don't you tell us, Trevor? What's
You
next?
tell us,
Yeah,
Trevor.
what's coming up this week?
Hey guys, this week, first off, this upcoming week is Mission Sunday.
Yay, Mission
And
Sunday.
so we're gonna have some of our mission partners here. We're gonna talk about the last South Dakota mission trip that just happened.
Yay.
And as we're filming, I mean, we came back yesterday, so it's like was very kind of recent, and so it's gonna be awesome to hear about. And so we have Mission Sunday coming up. You're gonna have a chance to talk with our partners. They'll have a spot in the lobby where they'll be outside and you can talk with them. And then after that, we're kicking off into For the Sake of Others. And yeah, we're gonna be starting Matthew 25. Did I get that correct off the top of my head?
Sure.
Well, no, I did write it down. It is Matthew.
Okay.
25.
I love that you still questioned it, even though it was in your notes.
I had it, and then I realized that like the page ending, it was like here, right underneath. So I go, I wanted to quit.
We're pastors. We know.
We know it.
Yep.
And so yeah, that one's gonna be awesome. And so we're gonna be
Yeah, it's the passage of scripture where Jesus talks about whenever you did it for the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you do it for me.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of taking a look at those things like hospitality, things like generosity, things like caring for others, and what does that look like for us, and all that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. And with that, y'all, I think that's it for the series recap, y'all. And hope, like always, we love you. We'll see you guys next time. And
Peace.
peace out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Series Recap. The Series Recap exists to encourage people at Hope Community Church to continue to engage with their faith and their formation even after Sunday is over. Our hope is that we can keep formational ideas and concepts in front of us during the week to help redirect our attention back to Jesus as we learn to practice the way of Jesus. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.